While parents go crazy raising even one kid, Russian mom Kristina Ozturk, who already has 11 of her biological children, hopes to have dozens more using surrogate mothers. Kristina is a young woman with a huge heart, one big enough to spread between a husband and 11 kids in fact. But she's not done yet. Keep watching to meet the woman who's trying to make her dream of having 100 kids come true. Meet Mom Kristina. Kristina was born and raised in Moscow, Russia, with a regular upbringing. She never could have expected the crazy turns her life would take. But at just 17 years old, Kristina suddenly fell pregnant. While the thought of being a young mother was daunting, she quickly fell in love with parenthood. With the father out of the picture, Kristina knew that she was all her baby Vika had. Since she was only a teenager at the time, she figured that having one child was the most she could handle. But that would soon change. Being a single parent was incredibly challenging for Kristina, and by the time she turned 23 years old, the young mother had worn herself out completely. She dreamed of finding a partner to share the load with, but the thought of someone loving her and Vika felt like a distant fairy tale. Kristina decided that all of her hard work deserved to be rewarded, so after a lot of convincing, she took herself on vacation a few countries over to Georgia. Little did she know the trip she had just embarked on would change her life in ways she never saw coming. Meet Dad Galip. Galip Ozturk was originally from Turkey. He had already become a millionaire thanks to owning several Metro Group properties and establishing the Turkey Bus Federation. In 2005, Ozturk created and became the president of the new company launching his career forward. Galip was a well-off man who understood the business and was dashingly handsome. All sounds magically wonderful, but a secret he'd been keeping hidden would soon come to light, and it just so happened that it would occur as he met the beautiful Kristina. As it turned out, there was a dark reason why Galip was living in Georgia. It all started back in 2009, when he was arrested for manipulating the Istanbul Stock Exchange. 3 years later, Ozturk found himself in hot water. He was sentenced to life imprisonment for something else, a violent act against an employee in 1996. But on the day of his sentencing in 2013, he fled to Georgia, where he's been since. It just so happened that shortly after he'd settled into the new country, his fate took a turn. He never saw it coming, but Kristina stumbled into his life at just the right moment. Their love story began. Galip met Kristina while she was vacationing in Botany, Georgia, often referred to as the Las Vegas of the Black Sea. As they recalled the encounter, it was love at first sight. She's so easy to be with. She always has a smile on her lips. And yet at the same time, she's shy and mysterious, Ozturk gushed. After a few dates, the couple fell quickly into a serious relationship. So much so that Kristina and Vika decided to move to Botany permanently to begin a life with Galip. At the same time, the young mother didn't know that they were bound to Georgia, thanks to Galip's secret past. Despite what Galip kept behind closed doors, the two grew to be very close. Not only was Ozturk a sweet and caring man, but he actually was a father as well, so he understood the love for Vika that Kristina held close. As things continued to progress, the pair decided to marry and began a blended family together. In an interview with Daily Mail, Kristina described her new husband as her mentor, guide, and fairy tale prince, all rolled into one. They realized they had more in common than they could even imagine. Both of them wanted large families and to have as many kids as they could care for. Kristina and Galip soon had their first son together via a surrogate. Although they already had Vika, the couple instantly caught baby fever. Initially, the newlyweds discussed having a large family, but when the conversation grew to include one baby every year, they realized Kristina's body might not be able to handle it. Unsure of what to do given their inability to conceive, they called upon a surrogate agency. It was then decided the Ozturks would grow their family with the help of the birthing community in Georgia. But first, they had to set important parameters. Kristina and her new husband were massively in love, and they wanted to be able to share that love with as many babies as possible, as fast as possible. Thus, their goal of having a huge family and household was set in motion, but neither one of them wanted to wait years to see their vision become a reality. So the couple began researching desperately. They learned everything they could about the possibilities of having several children via surrogate at the same time. On Instagram, Kristina said they'd like to have 105 kids. She later said she was joking, but that 100 children felt slightly more fitting. Their age difference had no effect, Kristina explained. Even though Galip was 56 years old, 33 her senior, he had no objections to having a big family. On top of that, as mentioned before, Ozturk was already a father. In fact, he had 8 kids in total, ranging in age between 12 and 34 before he and Kristina met. Immediately, they began their mission of building a family comprised of as many children as possible. To do this, they had to call on as many surrogate mothers mothers that were willing to help. But this decision came with a price tag, about $9,700 per baby to be exact. Next came all of the exciting planning and preparations for their growing family. Georgia has allowed surrogacy since 1997, with many rules and regulations set in place. One of the most important being, when a child is born, it's automatically given to the people whose genetics make up the conception. This means a surrogate doesn't have any rights over the children she carries. To ensure that their future kids were in healthy condition, each of Kristina's potential surrogates went through counseling. Like any other binding agreement, they also had to sign legal documents before becoming pregnant with the Ozturk's children. The Ozturks were very particular when it came to finding the right women for these jobs. Only those who had given birth before were chosen, surveyed to seek out bad habits, and interviewed by a psychologist. The clinic in Botany chose surrogate mothers for us and takes full responsibility for the process, said Kristina. The surrogates were even asked their feelings about giving the baby to its genetic parents post-birth to ensure ain't no hiccup situation. We were not personally acquainted with surrogate mothers and do not have direct contact with them. In order to avoid problems after pregnancy, Kristina had explained on the Russian website women.ru. Meet some of the kids. The eldest child in the family is 6-year-old Victoria, or Vika for short. I only gave birth to Vika. The others are genetically ours, but they were born from surrogate wombs. The young mom told Newsflash. Currently, the couple has 11 children in total, with 10 of them birthed via surrogates in the last year. The second eldest is Mustafa, Galip and Kristina's first child together. He was born via surrogacy on March 10, 2020, followed by Miriam on April 17. Next, twins Alyssa and Aaron were born on April 19, with more siblings arriving in the following months. The second set of twins, Hassan and Judy, were born on May 29, 2020. Next came Anna, Ismail, and on August 21st, Mohammed. Lockman followed on November 10th, and her 10th child, Olivia, was the first to enter in the new year. On January 10th, she was born healthy and happy, but with 11 children, the Ozturks still aren't finished. I don't know how many children there'll eventually be, but we certainly don't plan to stop at 10, Kristina told Woman.ru. The couple has spoken about having 100 babies. However, they reluctantly decided to wait until their current 10 is a bit older before commencing in another surrogacy. Surrogacy wasn't always Kristina's birth plan. After countless hours of research, the young mom initially ruled out IVF. Unfortunately, it held a high risk of causing strain on her body and the inability to carry a child while receiving treatment, but she hasn't ruled out biological birth. Kristina did, however, label IVF as not practical due to the number of kids they have running around the house. Her husband has described the mum-of-11 as the wife I always wanted for myself, an uncut diamond, where I saw what a pure and kind heart she had. So how does this gem manage a household of 13? Many people who don't know the Ozturks assume Kristina has a laundry list of nannies to help with childcare, but the young mom claims most of the day-to-day child care herself. She also makes sure to devote time and attention to care for each child, as well as their home and herself. Kristina has insisted that each of the babies adhere to a strict sleeping schedule. Astonishingly, the hardworking mom has said that she trained her kids to sleep from 8 p.m. to 6 a.m. every night. According to Kristina, her eldest, Vika, loves caring for the babies and is now old enough to help her mom with certain tasks. On her Instagram, where she shares many tips, tricks, and story time with her experience as a mom of 11, Kristina said, "I spend the maximum amount of time with my children, but when I'm out with them, I control everything." After putting the children to bed each night, Kristina gets started on household chores. Her list includes making sure her house is stocked with everything the nannies need each week, organizing each day menus, and scheduling necessary health appointments. If the Ozturks wanted to accomplish their goal by the time Kristina turned 30, they'd need to have about 12 kids per year for the next 7 years. To make this happen, Galip would have to withdraw about $950,000 from his bank account to pay for the surrogacies, but this is no problem for the millionaire. Some worried onlookers wonder about how well the Ozturks can actually care for their children. Perhaps because after 10 surrogacies, the young mom made a shocking announcement on social media. She's already struggling to spend time with the 11 children they have now. Despite what anyone might say, the Ozturk parents always make sure that their family feels appreciated. I'm very grateful to my husband that he completely trusts me in all matters concerning children, Kristina shared on Instagram. She is the self-proclaimed tough parent, while Galip is the yes man. What a wonderful mother she is.